Hi, I'm Forrest Lee Jr. and welcome to Advanced Country Techniques. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tune up, so let me give you an E string. That would be your E or 6th string. There's your A string. There's your D string. That's your G string. Your B. Finally, your little E. Okay, now the first thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about the tuning. Whenever I tune a guitar, I always play an A chord like that, where I bar the 5th fret on the B and E strings, just to make sure it's in tune halfway up the neck. And it sounds pretty good right now. But I always do that. Another thing is if you're playing a bar or any gig where you don't have a lot of time in between, you can't just set your guitar on stage for an hour, then be prepared to retune it after the first or second song, because it never fails that your guitar is sitting in a cold trunk of your car or something. You bring it into the gig's a lot warmer and it starts going flat. It happens every time. Or vice versa, if it's hot outside and you come in an air-conditioned building, then it'll start going really sharp. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about my gear real quick. I use a volume pedal so I can get the so I can do swells and stuff like that. I use a couple different compressors. People think that's weird, but I have different compressors have different characteristics, and I use an Ibanez compressor and a Boss CS2. And I set the compression on one of them really extreme, like not very much attack and a whole lot of compression, and the other one I kind of set even. I also use a blues driver pedal for a little bit of, just to get a little overdrive happening. And I use delay. Periodically I'll pull a delay out. I usually won't use it on a live gig unless I'm playing with somebody that I have to use it. I don't really like using my delay. The next thing I want to talk about is my amp. I use a 410 cabinet. I like the sound of it's tube, all tube, 12 AX7s in it. I like the sound of 410s. They're a little bit smoother sounding than, say, a 212 cabinet. My guitar, this is an old Paisley Telecaster that's got lots and lots of road scars on it. It's all dinged up and beat up. I put a Parsons white string bender in it. That was about 12 hours of sweat because I put it in myself, and I was like, I'm tearing up my Paisley. I also have a set of EMG pickups in it that are active, and I really like these pickups in this guitar. They don't sound great in my other one. I have Bardens and Seymour Duncan pickups, and I have different pickups in every guitar because the wood, depending on what kind of wood it's made out of, it sounds different with every kind of pickup. And these just sound great in this guitar, so I use them. Other than that, the rest of this thing is a bone stock. It's old Paisley Telecaster. And that's about it for the gear. Now the first lick thing I want to show you is hammer-ons and pull-offs using open strings, and not your typical, that type of thing, but actually using, just you're hammering on, stuff like that. You can use that all kinds of different things. This example I'm going to use is in the key of A, and I'm going to go up the neck like that. Okay, so and all I'm doing is I'm just sliding up to it. You can just keep doing that all over the place. You can do it. You can use it all over the place. I use that a lot, and I also use these where I'm not using any open strings. Same concept, I guess. I use that a lot, and it enables me to play really fast on some things, just fast chicken picking songs, you know. That was two different ones actually. The first one was, and where I'm actually hammering on the A string at the 4th fret. Okay. And you can use these anywhere. Anywhere you can use an open string and something up the neck and hammer on or pull off to it. It's use it. Next thing I want to go over is some open string licks, a couple of ascending licks. This one's over the key of G, where I'm ascending, again it'd be like a fast song, or medium fast. Basically what I'm doing there, that I am starting at the 3rd fret on the G string, to the 6th fret on the B string, and then the E string open, back to the 3rd fret on the B string, 5th fret, and then open B string, same type of thing. So I'm basically playing the same thing, just twice in one chord. You can also do the same thing over an A, which is pretty much the same lick, or you could do it over D. And I'm pulling off to the same that I would be pulling off in the G. I'm doing the exact same lick. I'm just playing it 2 frets up with the strings that I'm hammering off of, or hammering onto, or pulling off of. And in D, you could do a say a something like that. Or, there's all kinds of different things you can pull off there. The next thing I want to get into is banjo rolls, and I'll give you an example in the key G. Okay. And basically what I'm doing is I'm using my ring finger of my right hand and my pick, and I'm hammering on to the 5th fret on the D string. Okay. And it's easier if you use these fingers, with it. You can also just go, there's lots of different ways to do it. Something that I do a lot would be where I'm just kind of rolling off each one and then moving down a note. Something like that. brassy things. You can use those anywhere too. So just kind of the easiest one to kind of practice so that you get the would be probably in the key of G, you know, because it's right there. You know, you can play it up the neck though, okay, and play it like where you're actually playing the you know, the C chord. Wow, see? I was talking about that tuning thing. Temperature, I can feel the temperature drop just a hair, and it just doesn't feel right. Another pitfall is these old Telecasters, they only had 3 saddle pieces, and I just refused to replace this bridge with a 6 saddle bridge because, you know, it's all rusty and it has character. And, you know, I don't know. That's something that I should probably change, but I won't do it. So, let's see, Banjo Rolls. You know, another one that I would do is over the key, say the key E. You know, where all you're doing is, you know, but hammering onto it and doing the banjo roll thing. I kind of like that one. I use that one a lot too. Next thing I want to talk about would be double stops. And for this example, we're going to be in the key G. And this is a little tune I wrote. I still haven't laid it down on tape yet. This will be the first recording of it, but it's kind of an interesting little riff I came up with. And it's in the key G. It's all double. It's pretty much based on double stop. Let me break that down real quick here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm starting and coming up to the... I'm using my pick and these 2 fingers to play all the double stops. Something like that. I didn't do that exactly what I played earlier, but like I say, I haven't even recorded it yet. It's just something I came up with. It gives you an idea, some double stops over the key of G, then going to a C. Where I'm bouncing off those. Back to a G7. Something in the key of E would be like a... where I would be actually throwing in a little B bender thing. Bending it up to this. You know. I'm going to get into some B bender stuff later, but I use B benders a lot with double stops. Key of A, a couple in the key of A. You know, a lot of my rhythm stuff I'm double stopping in it, just in and out of it, and kind of coming up with the rhythm with it. That would be another one. You know, kind of wiry. Something like that. I use double stops all over the place. But another cool one would be something like that. I'm gonna keep rambling if I don't move on to something else, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave the double stops where they are and move on to something else. Okay, I want to talk about moving in and out of chords and doing half steps and passing notes, passing tones. Basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a chord. For example, I'm just going to play an E. Okay, and to kind of make it interesting, I'm going to go ahead and move around it. And so I'll be playing the notes beneath and below it, but I'm going to do that just kind of moving up the neck instead of playing a regular scale type thing. So instead of playing like you know, something like that, I might go. You know, that'll give you some ideas you can work with there. Moving up, or you can go down too. And basically, you're just playing. You know, that's a good exercise, actually. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, yeah. So back to the passing note. That's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of, you know, I'm playing a G chord, and I'm hitting on the 7th in there too, so it kind of turns into a G7 type of but for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and sliding up to the next chord, so you can hammer onto it, or slide up to it, or pull off down to it, or slide down to it. You can, you know, you can move all over the place. And I use that a lot. That was another one of my songs. I use a bunch of those things. Stuff like that. Basically, I'm just kind of moving up. You know, and you might want to practice it that way. Just keep on practicing on a couple of little positions like that, where, like this one, I'm coming up to the 2nd fret on the E string, and then from the 3rd to the 4th fret on the A string, and then an open D. So, you know. That's kind of the concept of it. Is you can pretty much play anything you want to on the fretboard as long as you have a place destination point. If you can play it fast enough, you can just play all the way up the fretboard, and you know it's going to sound great because you just consider them all passing tones. If I hit a bad note, which happens, you know, occasionally, more than I would like. But when I hit a bad note, say I'll be playing a lead part or something, and I hit, I'm supposed to be hitting a, okay, and I hit a, I'll bend it up and try to recover from it. So I'm in the key of A, or do some incredibly crazy bend, and then just pull off before I get back down to the bad note, you know. So if you're playing real fast, or you're playing, it really won't work with a slow song. But any of those notes, I mean, you can pretty much use any note you want. Okay, that doesn't really work in an A chord, but you can bend it up. of slow song, you know. You know, you can kind of pull it in. Where you're kind of passing on through it. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on from here. Let me get in some pedal steel licks that I use a lot. Before I get into the B-bender stuff, I'll show you how to play some pedal steel licks. This one, it's over the key of A, over an A chord, and there's lots of different ways to do it. For an example, I'm going to play the A like this, barring the B and E strings at the 5th fret. You know, you probably already know that one. But you can also play it down here, or move the E string down again. Or you can play it like this, where you're bending it up. And any way you look at it, you're just kind of doing it without moving around too much from the A chord, so that you can do all your other double stop thing. Another thing that I like to do that's a pedal steel thing is below the nut bends, which I talked about on a previous tape, but you know, it's kind of a pedal steel thing. And I do that with harmonics too. Little pedal steel things there. Here's a cool pedal steel lick. This would be over a D. So basically what I'm doing is sliding up to the 7th fret on the D string, and then from the 6th fret on the G string, hammering on, and then hammering on there. You know? Well, here's another one that I would do where I'm actually going okay. I kind of like that one. I use that one a lot too. Let me go ahead and jam over an A, and I'll just kind of throw in a bunch of pedal steel things. So. Kind of slipped up and threw a couple B-bender things in there. There's, yeah, still. There, I caught myself. I was hitting a bad note, not the one that I was going for, which was this one. And I hit this one, and I only bent it up a half step, and I recovered from it. There's, you know, I get away with a lot of that. People don't catch it. Hopefully. I know if any of you are out in the audience, you're going to be going, "Hey, you hit the wrong note and you bent it up, but he recovered." So. Now the next thing I want to show you is I want to show you some B-bender licks, and I'm just going to go ahead and start jamming on something over the A chord, or not over the A chord, just kind of a A, you know, D, E type song, kind of a I'm just going to do some different B bender things, and then I'll kind of show you what I'm doing later here. So here we go. That was all kind of crooked, but kind of bent out of shape there in a few spots. But basically, I threw in kind of a bunch of different licks, like the that's pretty much the standard. Something like that, and that's kind of a cool one. And then I went up to the C7 or the D7 chord and bent that up, which you can also bend up a little further if you want. And I think I went up to a and I also did it up here. I do that a lot too. You know, stuff like that. You know where you. So the first part of that one over the G would be, so you're starting here. 6th fret and 7th fret on your B, and then your 7th fret on your E string, and then just your G, and then bending that up with your ring finger of your left hand, and then bending that up, just bending your index finger up while you're still holding this one down. So that kind of hurts a little bit, but if you do it fast, then it's not bad. Another one would be this is something that I use an awful lot. I used it an awful lot in Nashville when I was playing downtown, Lower Broadway. Just a kind of an intro for a old country swing song in the key of E, and the part I only use the bender in this one part, but working my way up to it, it sounds cool. So here we go. Something like that. So again, let me go ahead and slow that thing down. It's something like that is probably what I'd end up doing. Now this next part that I want to show you is soloing between different chord positions. So you have so we'll do this in E, and then I'll do it in A, and so on and so on, etc., etc. So you have your E position here, and then you have your E position here, and then you have your E position here, and then up here. You just have it, all over the place. So kind of the way I think about it, I'm always thinking in threes. I'm thinking of the notes that are in the chord. And I use passing tones to get in between them, but I'm always trying to find that next position so that, you know, if I ever get stuck for anything in the middle of a song, as long as I know the chords, you could sit throughout the first half of a song and just listen to what they're playing and not make a fool of yourself, even if you don't know the song. And then once you know the chord pattern, then you can go ahead and just work around those chords. So that's kind of what I'm going to try to explain to you here. It's getting a little colder, so the guitar is going a little bit out of tune, but close enough for government work. We'll keep working. So say I'm in the key of E. I'm just going to kind of work my way up to another position, then I'll stop and I'll show you where I'm at. And then I'll work up and do another one and I'll show you where I'm at. So then I started out here and I ended up at this one. Okay. I'll leave the B bender licks out of this actually. Okay, or maybe I want to go up to this position. Keep throwing that B bender thing in there. Let me get rid of the B bender and just do it. Okay. So there I'm at that position. So I'm going through. So I'm just going to do something kind of fast in the key of E. And then just kind of go through those positions. And you should be able to tell where I'm at. You know, when I start here, I'll be hitting on that. I'm probably not going to be playing that exactly. It'll be something like... Something like that. Basically, you can see that I'm starting here, and I usually wind up here off the first one. And I threw that little pedal steel thing in there. Tried not to use the bender, but I ended up using it on some of with a bender version. And then at that position, and then I went up to a, I think I went, and so I'm at this one, still at that one, and then I'm kind of at this one, so I'm playing the 7. Let me do the same thing over in A and kind of work through the different variations of the A chord, and you'll kind of see where I'm at. Hopefully you'll kind of get what I'm talking about. Just moving in and out of the chords. Okay, so here we go. just kind of going along, jamming along in whatever. I'm touching on this, and then I'm coming up to here, and playing this one. So that gives you kind of an idea of what I'm thinking. I'm always thinking about where I'm gonna. Well, actually, I don't even think about anything anymore. But when I first started out, I was thinking, okay, how am I gonna get from here to here, which is pretty much the same thing. You just have to move up, you know, play those notes, and then from here, and then up to, you know. What I'm going to show you now is I'm going to play one of my songs. I'm just going to play the beginning part and kind of go into a couple of the interesting solo ideas I did over it. It's called Secondhand Smoke. It's readily available. You can download the thing off of several different sites, steal it. You know, lots of people do. And if you like it, buy the record, please. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of kick it off here. Let's see. It's in the key of A. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's kind of the intro and the ending, and it does it throughout the song as well. I also throw in a couple of interesting little lead parts. Like the first lead part starts with this. You know, and then I kind of. Anyway. I throw a couple other cool things in, like this, where I'm just hammering on. I'm playing like a D7th, and then hammering on to the D string at the 4th fret, and I'm kind of, you know, I'm not doing a banjo roll, like I do in the beginning of it. I'm just kind of, and that's kind of a cool lick that you can play around with. So real slow again. That's just hammering on to the 4th fret on the D string, and then I slide up and go, kind of that Buck Owens type. Twangy, wiry, chicken picking. Yeah. But let me go ahead and break down the beginning of it. It kicks off with the, and I'm going to try to slow that down without messing it up here. It's a hammer on to the 2nd fret, and then you go to the open A. So it's I do that twice. The second time around, instead of going to, I go to this where I'm bending the G string up to there, but I'm playing an open A, and then I'm playing the D string at the 5th fret. Kind of gives you that A7th, you know. Okay. And then the next part is, and what I'm doing there is I'm hammering on to the 3rd fret on the A string and playing an open D. Okay. And then I'm pulling off from the 1st fret on the G string, and then playing the D to a D7th, back to that buck one step thing, except I'm playing it. Okay, and then back to the intro part. And then the last part is. And that is kind of a banjo roll, except I'm not going. I'm just kind of going up with it and hammering onto that, and then pulling off there. Okay. So again, that would be one more time. Let's do it slow. And then at the end of it, I just did this. So I'll do that slow too. So let me play it all together real fast. So that's kind of how that one goes, secondhand smoke, but I'm always throwing in stuff like, and then one part goes, oh, another part is, so I'm throwing in stuff that I've shown you throughout the tape in that song. It's pretty interesting stuff. Another cool thing is wiry intros and stuff to make songs a little more interesting when you're kicking them off. Like one of my songs I wrote called "Getaway," and the intro part has got this. Okay. Something like that, but it's got that wiry, you know. And you got to do it really fast to get, well, not fast, but the bend has to be pretty quick, you know. Because if you do it slow, it doesn't quite sound right. So it's like. So that gives you a couple other ideas that you can use just to make things kind of more interesting. Just kicking it off with a really wiry, you know. Another thing I like to do is key of A. Get that wiry thing. You know. You know, I'll always go to that too. Or doing a blow the nut bend into it. And kind of on something like that, you might want to let it kind of hang a bit. You know, something kind of like that. Yeah, just get a little bit crazy, you know, a little screwy stuff. I used to have a Bugs Bunny sticker right here, and that was kind of my mascot for picking the guitar. You know, just kind of screwy. You know, play a little bit of whatever, and hopefully everybody will like it, and they won't kick you out of the band, and you'll get paid, which is the whole point. I'm going to go through a couple of rhythm techniques that I like to use a lot, and I think they're pretty useful. in any situation. I showed some of this type of stuff earlier, but I'm going to go through it again. It's kind of like double stops, like over the key of A. Kind of a, that would be a swing version. And it's got kind of that, you know, kind of a piano thing. Or you can do it kind of straight. And you can also throw more double stops into it. And throw that, you get that real wiry another thing I like to do, I like to try to come up with interesting intros. Like here's one from a song I wrote, God, I don't know, about 10 years ago or something like that. I co-wrote it with a friend of mine, and he had pretty much written the song, but he needed something to kind of make it jump out and kick it in the butt a bit. So I came up with this little intro part. Something like that. Okay, so again, that little part is just a, I'm just kind of pulling off there, but real quick. And a little bit more of that would be and that's kind of a cool lick there, where I'm just, that's another chicken picking thing. But I'm actually not playing all the notes in it like that. Like, I'm just going and moving my way up so I can play it really fast. So it's a okay. And you'll get used to playing them pretty fast like that. It's just which also works with it. One of the first things I showed you on this tape, but yeah, just well, here we are getting close to the end of the tape, and I kind of want to go over a couple things with you real quick. Say you know, soloing over major chords and seventh chords. That's pretty much what I showed you here. But you know, when you got to go into something kind of interesting, like you got to solo over a minor chord, again, that working half step down, moving a half step up, that works really well. So I'm just going to kind of give you an example in the key of A. The song kind of goes like this. So say you have to solo over that F sharp. You might want to, if it starts with starts on the F sharp, you can go up to, and then whatever you would normally do in A, You know, whatever licks that you want to pull off. And then when you got to go back down to the F sharp, you could do something like get that kind of wiry thing. And then say the next time you go over the F sharp, you just do the where you just go in half step up, and then you know, because that sounds kind of cool. So let me just kind of throw some of that stuff together and see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me slow that down a little bit. You know, something like that. Anyway, here we are at the end of the tape, and I hope you got something out of this. There's going to be a web address at the end of this that you can go down and you know, get online and log into it, and you know, you'll be able to download some more guitar licks and download some of the songs I was playing, so you can actually hear what they really sound like, and you know, get some other discounts on some other items that we have for sale too. So thanks again for buying the tape, and I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of picking here. So.